What's going on? YouTube. What's good, guys? It's your boy TD, and I'm back again with another live, guys. And today's live is going to be on week 6 starts and sits of the week. Now, I don't have any sits, but I'm going to just say starts of the week, right? So this is week 6, guys. Let's hit the like button. Let's subscribe to the channel. This is cutting edge content. You're not going to get this content just anywhere. Okay. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Tim J. What's up, Tim? Let's get the likes up, fellas, as we come in. Let me know how the sound quality is. Let me know how is the video lagging. Sean Bonds, what's up, bro? He said, what's good, bro? Was off at T. McMillan and Harrison Jr. for a doomsday. Thank you, Miracle Ballers. Sean Bonds, I would say, thank you, Tim J. Thank you. What I would say, Sean, I see you, Fantasy Network. What I would say, Sean, can you get Teague McMillan and Harrison Jr. in 2 spots if you trade or doomsday? Can you start them, or will you play matchups with McMillan or Harrison Jr.? To me, that says a lot. If you make that move and you got to say, well, I can start this guy over Ted and I can start this guy over Marvin Harrison Jr., don't do that move. If you get off of doomsday, you want to get 2 studs that you're going to put in, plug and play inside of your lineup, and don't worry about what they score. That's the way how you can tell if the trade is good. So I would ask you, Sean, are you going to be able to start both guys and start them without no questions? Okay. So, guys, I'm going to go through these starts of the week. I got 5 players, and then I got a DST. So let's start with the quarterback position. And remember, I'm not going to the obvious, right? I want to go to right there where you like, that type of decision. What's up, Jay Moore? What's up, bruh? So the quarterback starter of the week is going to be Bryce Young. And the reason why I'm going with Bryce Young, the Cowboys matchup and how he's been playing. And what I really loved about Bryce Young last week, it wasn't that they won the game. It wasn't that he threw a touchdown. It was the way he threw it. He threw a ball out to Xavier Leggett that looked like a professional throw, and a timing thing. Looks like they was all on the same page. They knew exactly what they wanted to do. And that's what I want to see from Bryce Young. I know Bryce Young can play, but I want to see you know what you're doing. Sometimes you're standing in the pocket. I don't know if you know if somebody gonna get open, if you just holding on to the ball. Be decisive is what I'm trying to say. And he was very decisive with the Xavier Leggett touchdown and coming in that last drive when he hit Jimmy Horn and Xavier Leggett. I like that. That shows me that's the Bryce Young that I saw in college that was the #1 pick. So I'm willing to start him against the Cowboys if I need to stream the quarterback position. Now listen, if you don't need to stream the quarterback position, don't start Bryce Young over no Bo Nix, Jalen Hurts, none of these top guys, right? Go ahead and play your studs. But if you have a guy on the bye week and you are worried about your quarterback matchup and it's not that good, he's been struggling, somebody like that, then you can play Bryce Young. That's what Bryce Young is for your team. Sean says, I have Golden, Coleman, Hunter, and Trey Tucker at wide receiver, bruh. Okay, so that means that you will be starting Marvin Harrison Jr. and Ted, right? What's up, Chris Cofit? Did you get the notification, guys? This is what I'm going to tell you right now. Make sure you go to the notification bell, turn it off, and then go back and turn it to all. That's how you get the notifications. And guys, every day to be checking your notifications between 5. What's up, Jimmy? Between 5 and 7 o'clock. I'm going live between 5 and 7. The reason why, guys, I don't have it planned, I got a lot of stuff going on. Something can happen. Okay, so let me see. What is your record right now? Let me know what your record is, Sean, before I tell you yes or no. Tell me what your record is. So yes, guys, Bryce Young. I think he's a great streamable quarterback this week. If you in DFS, this is a guy that you can get very cheap, and then you can stack your running backs and your wide receivers. Okay, thank you. Yes, guys, go to your notification bell, hit that, turn it off, and then go back to the notification bell and put all, not personalized, all. That's how you can make sure you get all the notifications. So Bryce Young, let's move on to my running back start of the week, and it's going to be Travion Henderson going against the Saints. Antonio Gibson is down. Now listen, I'm not saying this is not my boom list. So I'm not saying Travion Henderson is going to boom, but I'm starting them in my leagues, guys. With no Antonio Gibson out for the season, Ramondre keep fumbling, I have to play Travion unless I got a studded out team. Now, if I got a guy that's killing it like a Josh Jacobs over Travion, then that's easy. But if I got guys like Chase Brown, Alvin Kamara, I might start Travion Henderson over these guys because of the matchup and how the New England Patriots are playing. They're going to have to establish the run. What's up, Big Will in the house? I say Big Will in the house. Watch your mouth. So I love Travion Henderson against the Saints, guys. And sometimes starts, you have to start, even though everything isn't a perfect setup, you have to go with the flow. Antonio Gibson is down. It's week 6. This team is getting better. They just beat the Buffalo Bills. The number 2 running back on this team, Antonio Gibson, has been getting carries, and Travion was getting carries when he was the number 3. So why not roll out Travion if you don't know who to start and you have Travion, you're making a decision between him and another wide receiver 3, like a Calvin Ridley. I'm going with Travion Henderson, and there's no questions asked. It's easy pickings. Yes, I saw that, bro. I saw that about Alvin Kamara. That's why I mentioned him. I saw that about Alvin Kamara. Hopefully he don't get hurt too much in practice if y'all gonna trade him. If y'all gonna trade him, don't let him get hurt too much in practice. He says 0-5, bro. Have Warren, Dobbins, Marks, Hubbard, and Rashard White. So you should be starting Rashard White and Marks. You should be starting Rashard White and Marks this week over Jalen Warren and Dobbins. Let me see. Actually, Dobbins is a good play. Dobbins is solid. So you could go Dobbins and White, or you can go Marks and White with that running back situation. And then let me see, Sean. I got to get my boy Sean right. So you would play Rome Odunze. I would play Rome Odunze and Matthew Golden. That's what I would do. And put Travis Hunter in your flex maybe. And for a PPR. I think you need a running back. You getting multiple wide receivers. I think you got to give Golden a chance. Rome is fine, but I think what will really help your team will be a top end running back. Yeah, because you got Dobbins, Marks, Hubbard. None of those guys are top end. So I will hold off on the trade and try to get a running back and a wide receiver. And I think that'll really help your team because you'll give more. It'll give you up to as far as at the running back position and the wide receiver. Swapping out that one wide receiver for 2 doesn't make me see you as winning this week. I don't think it makes a big difference on your team. Okay. So, guys, Travion Henderson as my RB starter of the week. Let's move on to my wide receiver starter of the week. My wide receiver starter of the week is going to be Travis Hunter. They finally saw what this guy can do. They know that they got to get him the ball, and it's all up to Trevor. Trevor is doing it. I told Trevor, just throw it up, man. These guys can go. Brian Thomas can go get it. Travis Hunter can go get it. Just put it in their vicinity, bro. Know what the hell is going on, Trevor? Damn. Come on, bro. You can play. I'm not asking you to be Tom Brady and all of that. Just get the ball in the vicinity. That's all Matt Jones was doing. Just get it in their vicinity. And take off running. Don't be back there looking like a slow man with long hair. What's going on? I'm getting sacked. Like, you even fell down, but you rebound from that. I like what you did. You got back up and you made a play of the game. So I love what you got going on, bro. But you can do better. So just throw it up to these guys. And I saw it the last 2 games. They've been finding ways to get Travis Hunter the ball. So this is the last chance that if you want to buy on Travis Hunter, this is the last chance. So you better make that move now. If he's on waivers, you better go get him. If he's on your bench, you better start him. Now, you don't have to start him over a upper echelon type wide receiver or a flex running back, but you can, I think he needs to be in your lineup if it's close. So Travis Hunter going against the Seahawks. I'm starting him even though the matchup is tough. They're going to put the top corner on Brian Thomas. Travis Hunter is going to have a second or a third corner on him. All right, let's move on to my tight end starter of the week, and it's one of my favorite tight ends that I told y'all to play last week, and it's going to be Mason Taylor. The reason why I'm telling you to start him because he's playing against a tough matchup that a lot of you might be, well, you know what, they're playing against the Broncos. I don't know. The Broncos is a tough defense. No matter what other people have did to this team, they are a good defense, but I'm still starting Mason Taylor with those 12 targets. 12 targets at the tight end position has only been done like 2 or 3 times in the last 20 or 30 years. It's Brock Bowers, and I don't know, it's another player, and Mason Taylor. It's only a couple tight ends that's been targeted 12 times, so I'm still going down with that. You know they're going to take away Garrett Wilson, so who's going to have one-on-one coverage, and where can you get the ball out quick outside of the running back? The tight end, which is the quarterback's best friend. So I like playing Mason Taylor this week if you have to. I'm not streaming nobody when I already got Mason Taylor. Dance with the girl that you came to the party with. Dance with the girl that you came to the party with. Okay. All right, let's move on to my flex play of the week, and it's going to be Kamani Vidal. So listen, guys, the reason why and I could be completely wrong. It could be Hassan Haskins. We don't know. We had to choose between Rashad Wright and Sean Tucker. I picked Rashad White. Why? Because I had seen him be coming in the game more than Sean Tucker. It was that simple. But this one right here. So let's break down the Chargers. What's going on with the Chargers right now? The offensive line is struggling. Rashawn Slater is out for the rest of the season. Joe Alt, which is a top 5 pick, is going to be out for a couple more weeks. And I think their right guard that they got from the Philadelphia Eagles, I can't think of his name. He was a tackle when he got drafted, but he switched over to guard for the Eagles and played really well as a Pro Bowler. Now he's with the Chargers. That offensive line is struggling. So what that tells you when you're an offensive coordinator or head coach, you got to get the ball out quick. We're going to try to run the ball, but our running back is out for what? For 4 weeks, right? With the ankle injury, it's not the whole season. So what we have to do, we have to get the ball out quick. So when I'm getting the ball out quick, who can get open quick? Can Quentin Johnson get open quick? No, he's a fast speed guy. So who getting open fast? It's Ladd McConkey and Keenan Allen. So what you going to do with the run game? Are we going to establish Hassan Haskins early with this subpar offensive line? No. We're going to spread them out, and we're going to give out little dump passes, and then we'll use Hassan Haskins when we in short yardage, and we'll use Kamani Vidal if we need to throw the ball and need people to chip, because Kamani is a little bit quicker and better in the passing game than Hassan Haskins. So I think this team is going to pass. Even though they're going against Miami, I still think with them struggling at the offensive line with a backup running back, they're going to pass the ball a little bit more. So that tells me that Kamani Vidal has a safe PPR floor. And I'm only playing him for the PPR floor. I'm not playing him for the boom. It's no boom on this running back squad. Amari Hampton is out. So I don't expect Hassan Haskins to boom. I don't think this is a Rico Dowdle situation. That's a special situation. If you get that, you get it. But if you don't be mad. These are all backup guys. So you want to make sure you be safe. You playing for floor in this type of disgusting situation. So with the floor play, I'm taking Kamani Vidal because it's PPR. Hassan Haskins hasn't caught more than 2 passes in the game. He's a good pass protector, but is he going to be running routes? I'm going for the guy who's going to be running routes. So I'm going with Kamani Vidal. Does that mean that Kamani Vidal and I'm putting my staple on him? No. I'm just telling you, if you need to start him, it's okay. That's all I'm telling you. If you got to start him, it's okay. Let's get the likes up, fellas. We got 50 people in here. We only got 14 likes. Let's get the likes up. All right, let's go on to my DST start of the week. It's going to be the Las Vegas Raiders. The Las Vegas Raiders. Same thing I told y'all to pick up off the waiver, and you can play them. They're playing against the Titans, and Cam Ward doesn't look good. And it's Max Crosby's on the team. So I'm expecting Max Crosby. If you're in a sack league now, if sacks don't matter, if it's all about points, you might not want to be with the Las Vegas Raiders because this could go for 20. Both teams could score 20 because both defenses are giving it up behind the dumpster. So I would say play the Las Vegas Raiders, and hopefully you get a couple turnovers and a couple sacks. That's 4 opportunities to get points, 2 sacks and a couple turnovers. Max Crosby can get 2 or 3 of them himself, and I think that could be a good fantasy output. But now, if it's about points, then maybe you need to go stream somebody else. Maybe the New England Patriots, if you just want to hold a team low below 21 points. But if you want turnovers, sacks, and interceptions, then I would play in the Las Vegas Raiders. And that's why I don't do a lot of DST, because everybody DST league is set up different. Some people get points for you only allow 200 yards. Some people don't get points for how many yards. It's all about just how many points you get. How many points did the other team score? It can be scored off a special team. So it's so many different levels to this. You have to just nerd it down. That's why I like doing consultations. If you need a consultation, sign up as a Phenom member. You can get a free one, right? Your first one. But yeah, I'm playing the Las Vegas Raiders. I'm starting them. I feel comfortable starting them if I need to. Okay, so let's get to some of these questions in the chat. Appreciate everybody being here. Cutting edge content. I see you, Paola. Bro, I ain't worried about that, Sean Bond. You always show love, bro. I'm not worried about that. I ain't worried about no cash out. I don't worry about that. You show love. So appreciate you anyway, bro. Hopefully that can help you out. But this is what I'm gonna tell you, bro. Next year, bro, before the draft, get with me. That way we can have, it's your team. I know you know fantasy, and I'm not gonna tell you who to draft, but I'm gonna advise you, right? Just like a doctor. If a doctor come in and he look in your refrigerator and he see you got the plastic ketchup that's in a plastic bottle, you got sodas, you got Kool-Aid, you put a bunch of sugar in there, the doctor gonna be like, bruh, I know you come to my shop, you come to my place of business all the time. I charge you a nice penny, but when you go shopping, you need to call me. I'm gonna tell you what to get. I'm gonna tell you to get the real apple juice. Don't get that fake apple juice with all the sugar in it. You got a couple players that I think you could have done a little bit better on, but who am I? Because I talked about Jameson. He ain't hitting, so it's a couple players, but I've hit on most players. So yeah, bro, hopefully that's gonna help you. But like I said, just hit me up in the comment section if you need anything later. Jonathan, what's going on? Senor Rojo, Hunter, baby. Jay Moore, what's up, bro? Shaq, what's up, Shaq? Christopher Sports PSP in the building. Guys, go check his YouTube channel out and check out his TikTok. This guy stay grinding, always doing content. He's a Jonathan Taylor going to go off against Arizona. He went off last week against another team for 3 touchdowns. Yes, Jonathan Taylor is going to go off. Appreciate that, Sean Bonds. 3 strikes in the building. MH1608. Okay. So, that Fantasy Network says, what Flacco gonna do in Cincy? Just go back there and chuck it to T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. I don't know what fantasy points he's gonna get, but he's gonna chuck it to those guys. So I feel better about starting T. Higgins. If you got T. Higgins, I would start him this week. I would start him depending on who I got in front of him. So that's all Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco, if I need to start him, I will. Listen, guys, that's why I give y'all life lessons. It's just that simple, right? If I'm not working out, I'm low on, I'm barely working, then my appetite for what type of woman that I'm trying to date is going to be different. Because why? I'm not saying I'm desperate, but I'm not my best self. So I can't be I would say I gotta be careful where I'm looking for my dating, the people that I'm dating, right? The girls that I'm trying to date, I gotta be careful how I'm dating, right? Because I might be trying to date way up here, but guess what? I'm not at that level right now. So what I'm trying to tell you is, if you need Flacco because you desperate and your quarterback is not performing, then play Flacco. But if you got like good players like Bo Nix and even Bryce Young, then who cares about Joe Flacco? But I get it. We always want to talk about the news. I don't care about the news, but I do care because I provide content. So that's why I'm trying to expand, and I'm trying to do more of news clip videos. But really, guys, Joe Flacco really has nothing to do with Joe Flacco. It has to do with T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, those type of players that we drafted, and also Chase Brown. So basically what we're saying, can Joe Flacco go back there with this sorry offensive line and make sure that Jamar Chase is going to be 80% of what he was, or 70% of what he was, and is T. Higgins going to be 70 or 80% of what he was, and all trickle all the way down to Chase Brown? And I think they can. I think Jamar Chase is not going to go below 10 points anymore with his type of athletic ability. T. Higgins still will go below 10 points, but every other game he might have a touchdown like he always have. He's a touchdown guy, not a consistent every week guy like Jamar Chase has been in the past. So that's what I think about Joe Flacco. I'm not worried about playing no Joe Flacco, because I don't think Joe Flacco is going to be a top 12 quarterback. But I think he's going to be decent with 230, 250 yards, throwing it to Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. Let's see here. Jay Moore says start one running back, flex two. Okay, one running back. He said Rico, Carter, Hendy, Chase Brown, Ridley, or Golden. Let's go with Rico since Chuba is out, with the great matchup that they got. They got a good matchup going against the Cowboys, and this is a revenge game for Rico. So I'm going with Rico for the running back. Flex two, I would say Hendy, and Ridley. And Ridley slightly over Golden. If you want to replace Ridley with Golden, there's nothing wrong with that. But I would say Hendy and Golden. Now listen, I like Carter, but he only averaged 2 yards per carry. I don't know if he's going to get the same goal lines. They're not playing against the Tennessee Titans this week. They're not playing against the Tennessee Titans this week. So again, I'm gonna go with Rico, Hendy, and Ridley, and you can swap out Ridley with Golden. Jay Moore says, I dropped Browns DST over Pats. Thoughts? Yes, I did it too. The Browns doesn't look good going forward as good as the Pats do. The Pats got some good matchups. They got some green bean matchups going forward, like New York Jets, a couple other teams, Miami. So I do like the Pats going rest of the season and for this week too. Crisco Fitz says, finally able to catch it live, TD. What's good? I just witnessed a Woody for Rome trade in my league. Wow, that's a good trade. Whoever got Rome, that was a good move. Woody gonna be okay too. Woody's gonna be okay. I think it's actually a good move for both teams, to be honest. Jay Moore says, good call on Bryce. I can see him having a great game with a high over under. Also, Coca is a full go, right? So he gonna have good weapons. They're gonna keep giving the ball to Jimmy Horn too, but Coca is gonna be back. So yes, I like Bryce Young against the Cowboys. What's up, Jimmy? What's up, bruh? Boy T Cheese says, am going with the Raiders on the double. Crisco Fitz says, bet. I just said it. Jay Moore says, I have Ridley and Ayomana on roster. Who would you drop for a kicker stream? I would drop Ayomana. You can go back and get him. Ridley, that name value with what he did last week, you might not be able to go back and get him, but you can go back and get Ayomana after this week. Sam, what's up, Sam? He said, should I start Drake May, or Stafford this week? I'm starting Drake May. And the reason why I'm starting Drake May, man, his rushing upside. I think he's only getting better each game that we looking at. Like he's getting better. Now Stafford is putting the ball all over, but he has to throw for touchdowns. If Kyron Williams get 2 touchdowns and he only throw for 1, it's gonna be a disgusting week for Stafford. But even with Drake May, even if he doesn't throw for a lot, he's still gonna have at least 30 or 40 yards rushing. He at least gonna get 3 or 4 points rushing the ball. He's not playing against the Buffalo Bills, who he had a great game against, but not in fantasy purposes. So he's playing against the Saints. The Saints aren't bad. They're not a terrible defense. They're giving it up though. So he can go out there and still be a top 5 quarterback. So I'm going with Drake May, and I'm biased because Drake May is a guy I don't like playing matchups with quarterbacks. So I've been starting Drake May every week, but sometimes I have to go inside a vacuum and just go with the best quarterback with the best matchup, no matter what the names say, for y'all's sake. Because a lot of you playing 18 leagues and 10-team leagues, and sometimes it's going to be tough matchups. It's going to be tough calls. But I'm going with Drake May in this situation, Sam. His rushing upside is what sold me on him in the offseason, and is why I'm sold on him now. Rashik says, are we starting Chuba and Chase this week? Chuba, no. We don't know about Chuba. He got to practice. Let's wait and see. Jamar Chase, we definitely starting Jamar Chase. Chase Brown, we got to wait and see. But Jamar Chase is a start every single week, no matter what. I don't care. If they put me at quarterback, bro, you got to start him because I'm going to throw it up high for him. He just got to jump the corner. MH says 18 full PPR. Start Walker, Dowdle, or Michael Carter. We're going with Dowdle over Walker and Michael Carter. Big Will says they saying Kamara got hurt in practice. I saw that. We got to wait and see. It is what it is. We already been on Kendre Miller. We told everybody to pick up Kendre Miller off the waivers, so you should be okay. And if you got maybe you don't got Kendre Miller, just go on to the next running back that you got on your team and play him if you have to. Okay. 3 Strikes says, what are we doing with Woody? We holding or back to the wire. Hey, bruh. We holding. Do not get rid of no Woody. Do not get rid of Woody. So you 3-2. Yes, we holding on to Woody. Yeah, well, that's not a start of the week. We all gonna start him on sports PSP. But yeah, for a boom play, he might be one of the best boom plays of the week. He might be the number 1 RB of the week. Rashik says Marks is on a bye. Right. Okay, that's right. And they are on a bye this week. But you're still holding on to him. We still holding on to him. We still do not drop no Marks. Don't drop him. Jay Moore says, appreciate the live, TD. Love the content as always. Thank you, Jay Moore. Christopher says, Franklin or Wandale in flex full PPR. I'm going with Franklin. You can't play Wandale with the Giants. Not with Jackson Dart. You can't play him. So I'm going with Franklin. Shaq says, got B. John Jacobs and Kyron. Thinking about flipping Kyron. I need a wide receiver. What you think? It's okay. As long as you're getting some value. Brian Thomas Jr., I would, or a 2-for-1, but make sure don't get no chopped liver. Make sure you get a good player. Rome Odunze. What I do is straight up for Rome. I don't know. I might want to keep Kyron. Let me ask you this, Shaq. Tell me why you trading, because I got to do some teaching right here. Some of you, sometimes I feel like you trading just to trade, but I don't know, Shaq. I could be wrong. Maybe you really need wide receiver help. But tell me why you want to trade Kyron. Daniel Berry Sports says, happy Wednesday. Hello, everyone. What's going on, Daniel? Appreciate you being here. Shaq says, wide receiver, I got Jamison Sutton and Scary Terry. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Okay. Yes, trade Kyron and get you Brian Thomas Jr. or somebody. Or Kyron for Jamar Chase. No T. Higgins. I'm not going to tell you to trade Kyron for no Stephon Diggs, but I like Stephon Diggs, so I wouldn't trade Kyron for him. Kyron for Garrett Wilson. I like Kyron for Garrett Wilson. a Lad McConkey, I think that's fine. Maybe you can get Lad McConkey in another piece. Maybe you just keep it straight up. I don't know. It just depends on how you feel about Lad. I think Lad, with the offensive line troubles, I think Lad gets more targets, more touchdown upside. KJ says, should I drop Troy Franklin for Jalen Coker? No. And should I drop Bashir Tootin for Isaiah Thomas? No. Hold on to Bashir Tootin and hold on to Franklin. Jay Moore says, man, I have some great options at flex this week. Need help on the stars and sets. Golden, Carter, Brown, Hendy, Ridley, Ayamena. You do. So I'm going to give you a couple guys that I think is in play. Some guys ain't. The guys that's in play is going to be Golden, Hendy, and Carter. I'm going to go with Hendy because of the matchup over Carter. I think the Colts have a really good defense, and they can hold Carter down. He's not just going to be an easy score. Golden, I like Golden. They had a good matchup this week. Y'all know that. That's a fantastic matchup this week. So I like Golden. But Hendy, to me, at the running back, being the number 2, doing some kickoff return, going to be catching some passes, I like Hendy slightly over Golden. And it's a little bit more than slightly. I like him. I'm playing the running back over Golden. KJ says, is Kamara injury that he picked up today going to force him to miss time? I have Kendre Miller. He might. Either way, bro, you good. It don't matter to you, right? Injuries going to happen. So you got Kendre Miller, way to kill it. You got, hey, your bingo card just hit. So whatever happens, you good. If he's out, you got a better play than probably Kamara starting. CK says, which wide receiver in standard scoring, Marvin Harrison Jr., Garrett Wilson, Myers, or London? That's a tough one. That's tough, CK. You got some good options out there, especially touchdown guys. I'm trying to think who's the best touchdown guy. Let's go with Drake London. Let me tell you why. So, Garrett Wilson is a good wide receiver. He's got a tough matchup, but is he a true touchdown? When they get down there, are they trying to run it with Breach or Justin Fields or throw it to Garrett? They trying to run it with Breach and Justin Fields. So, boom, there's Garrett Wilson. Marvin Harrison Jr. is 6'3". He's a great red zone, but they still haven't quite figured out that he didn't get any targets in the second half, which is crazy. So that y'all still someone with that coach. So London last year, him and Michael Penix, most of their games have been really great together. Maybe a couple games hasn't been that good. So I think when they get down to the red zone, they're gonna be looking for Kyle Pitts. Now they do got Bijan, but they still use Drake London in the red zone with his big body catches. The other guys, Marvin Harrison Jr. will be my regular answer, but he don't get used properly. I think Drake London is being used better in the red zone for standard scoring for a wide receiver, better than Garrett Wilson, Marvin Harrison Jr., and definitely Myers at this point in time of their career. So I'm going to go with Drake London. Great question, CK. Great question. CK says, serious trade offer. My Judkins and Hawk for Tet and Kraft. Nah. We keeping that Judkins, and we going to ride that till the wheels fall off. Pause. Becton, you right, Christopher. Becton is out too for the Chargers. Thank you, Christopher. Paula says Mason Taylor gives me Antonio Gates vibes. Wow, really? Cutting edge content right there, Paula. Cutting edge content. Yes, sir. Super chat from Wandere. Sorry if I'm killing your name, bruh. I feel, are you from overseas? Appreciate you being here. You at the right channel. This is cutting edge content here. We're a great fantasy football community. Appreciate to have you here. He says trade away Swift for Rico and Chuba. Yeah, and that way you squeeze, and I love that trade. Somebody gonna be there. The only thing that worries me a little bit, Wandere, is if Rico and Chuba both split, that's going to be disgusting, and you would have to start both of them, and maybe that's not the team that you want to start 2 running backs on. So that's the only thing. If you okay with, because you might make that trade, and both of them might be going 50-50. So if you okay with that, I make it. But Swift, ain't no 50-50, but I believe Swift can get hurt. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want you to be dependent on Swift, and then Kyle Managa takes over. Because we've seen this in the history. I don't like repeating history. So you want to try to make new things happen in history. So you want to say, well, you know what? I'm not going to let this happen to me. So I'm going to get off Swift where I can. So I get it. But the only thing, if you do that, Rico and Chuba could split, and now you don't have a true bell cow. But if you could Rico take over? Hell yeah. Could Chuba come back and take over? Yes. Could they both be getting carries? Yes. So you're going to have to make that decision. Swift, you might have to go for another tandem that you can trust, that you know who's going to be the bell cow, or you might just have to take this risk and just go for Rico and Chuba, and hopefully one of these guys end up being a true bell cow. Or just hold on to Swift a little bit longer and find another trade target. Appreciate you, bruh. Ed Tate says, don't worry about slipping second. Dance with the girl you came to the party with. Understand what you're saying. Play your guys. Right. Don't worry about sloppy seconds. That's what he's saying. Don't worry about sloppy seconds. Don't worry about, hey, Joe Flacco. It doesn't matter about Joe Flacco, because you already got a quarterback that's way better than Joe Flacco. So that's what he's saying. That's what he's trying to, me and him talking about. Dance with the girl that you came to the party with. Appreciate that, Ed Tay. Manny, what's up, Manny? Top 5 Low Doc says half-point PPR, star 1 flex, Breach Hall, ETN Sutton, MHJ, Brian Thomas Jr. Half-point PPR. We're going with the running back, with the Jets. Tough matchup, but I still like the running back. Let's see here. I like Marvin Harrison Jr. I like Brian Thomas Jr. even against the Seahawks. Let's go with Breach Hall. It's half-point PPR. Denver, look what they did with Jonathan Taylor. I'm not saying Jonathan Taylor is Breach Hall, or vice versa, right? I'm not saying that Breach Hall is going to have 140 yards against them, but he is the running back, and he's getting goal line carries, and that's how you score in a half-point PPR. Catching a bunch of passes for 70, 80 yards is not going to give you the nice floor that you need, that a running back can give you in a half-point PPR league. So I'm going to go with Breach Hall, bruh, over Marvin Harrison Jr. and Brian Thomas Jr. Top 5 says Love and Knicks. I'm going with Love. He got a great matchup. Both of these guys are star. I don't play matchups, but in a vacuum, like I said earlier, you have to go with Love. The matchup is great. Rashik says Waller, Kelsey, or Mason this week. Got all 3. I think I might go with Kelsey. Let's go with Kelsey slightly over Waller and Mason. Waller and Mason are very close. Waller has a really nice roll. Has a really nice roll. So like he is the goal line wide receiver for that team to help them score with those smaller wide receivers. Mason has got 12 targets, but it's Travis Kelce, and he can get 12 targets, and they looking for him in the red zone. Travis Kelce is still a great red zone target. So I'm gonna go with Kelce. Now, I don't do kicker rankings. I'm not saying I can't do it, but I stream a kicker quick. I'm just going to go to a team that scores a lot of points, and I'm going to pick that kicker. Or if I think a team got a good kicker, but they're not going to be able to get the ball in the red zone because their offense is not that good. So that's when I go with that kicker. But no, man, I don't do kicker rankings. Nino says, thoughts on the Vikings backfield once Aaron Jones returns. Does Mason continue as the guy? No, but he's still going to get the goal line touches. Aaron Jones is going to get more touches as far as catching the ball out the backfield, having a nice PPR floor. I don't want any one of those guys. I sold Mason for a first round in all my dynasty leagues that I had him. I sold him for a first round pick if I could. I don't think I got him in any leagues. I think I sold him in 2 leagues. So it's going to be a backfield that I don't want unless they playing against a great run matchup, and Mason can get those goal line carries. And so will Aaron Jones get a couple himself. So Mason is basically a flex play to me. Says, does Mason continue as the guy? Yes, Mason continues as the goal line guy. Larry says, thank you. You two love me some fantasy football talk. Okay. He said, thank you, you two. Love me some fantasy football talk. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you for being here, Larry. Let's get the likes up, guys. We got 40, 50 people in here. We only got 20-some likes. Larry says, let me know if I can ask a question. You can ask a question, bruh. You can ask a question. Nifty, what's good, bruh? Sean says, I got you, fam. Senor Rojas says, Keon or Bond for the flex PPO. I'm going with Keon Coleman. He attached to Josh Allen. I was leaning Bond, but I have Fanning at tight end. Yes, go with Keon. Vic says, is Scat in trouble now? Nope, but listen, he might not be getting all the goal line touches. It's going to be competitive. It's just what it's going to be. It ain't just because he fumbled one time. It's just what it's going to be. I still like Scatterbo. They still going to get him the ball, especially in the goal line. He's great in the goal line. He's a tough runner. But if he fumble again, it's over. It's probably going to be a 50-50 split for the rest of the year if Brian Daboll don't get fired. Larry says, should I start Derrick Henry or Ramondre Stevenson half-point PPR? Listen, man, you might not like what I'm going to say, and it's fine either way. I'm going to say you got to keep starting Derrick Henry no matter what. As long as Derrick Henry is healthy, you got to start him, even if Lamar's not out there. Now, if you had Bijan Robinson, then I was like, nah, Bijan. Or Jahmyr Gibbs or Josh Jacobs, these top guys, yeah. But when it gets to Ramondre Stevenson, I'm not sitting no Derrick Henry for Ramondre Stevenson. Derrick Henry can still rust a long play with Cooper Rush. Not Cooper Kupp, Cooper Rush. Guys, moderators, I'm about to start changing it up. I'm about to ask for, hey, I see a comment in there. Take that, that comment is a little weird. Take it out of there. South says, you trusting Fields over Denver D, or would you start Caleb? See, this is the thing when it comes to Justin Fields. He's a great garbage time quarterback. So if I just don't want to say sit Fields and then they get in garbage time and he putting up fantasy points. Man, he's a true fantasy football quarterback. He's one of the best fantasy football quarterbacks you can have. He can always take off running. He can always boom. But I would start Caleb over him. That's me personally. But Justin Fields, even though he's playing against a tough matchup, he can always score. That's why I want to play Breach too, because they can get down there and they be down 14 points and go in the fourth quarter, and he throw a swing route to Breach and he score, and then he take off running for another touchdown. Now he end up being a top 7 quarterback, but the team played garbage in real life. So that's what worries me. But I would go with Caleb Williams. Jay Moore says, want to stash Woody? He was dropped to waivers. Should I drop Carter, Ridley, or Ayumana? Drop Ayumana and go get Woody. Second Glance says, should I start Dobbs or Kraft in the flex? I'm going with Kraft. I'm sorry. I could be wrong. I usually don't want to start tight ends, but when you talk about wide receivers and it's not golden, it's hard for me just to trust Dobbs, man. Listen, I'm being very biased right now. Dobbs is a better play than a tight end in the flex. But I just don't like the way Dobbs can go out for 3 touchdowns and the next week he go for 3 catches. I just don't play players that are like that. Unless you're a boom guy. Now, if he catching 70-yard bombs 1 or 2 times a game every other week, then I'm okay with that. But you a volume guy, you're not that fast, and then some weeks I can't even trust you against a good matchup. I don't like those type of guys. So Kraft to me has been consistent when he's healthy. So I like Kraft, but the play would be Dobbs as a wide receiver. Second Glance. Appreciate that. Good question. Coroto says, trade Swift for Cam Scatterbo and stash Kyle Managa. Did I win? Yes. Now, Cam Scatterbo is going to have a role, but if he fumble again, it could get iffy. So we want to be careful with that. But I like the way you went and got Kyle Managa, knowing that you traded Rand Swift because you don't trust him to be healthy. I love your science. I might not agree with the move, but it's an A+ move because you making a plan for something. That's all I ask y'all guys to do. Don't be frivolous. Maybe frivolous is the wrong word, but don't be so up and down. Have a plan, no matter what it is, and you counteracting it with a plan B. That's what he did. He traded Swift, but guess what? He got Kyle Managa. He's saying that Swift could get hurt, and he got Cam Scatterbo, and something can happen to Cam Scatterbo where he's not starting, but it doesn't matter. He still got Kyle Managa. I love that move. I love the move. Today with Jay says, would you trade Garrett Wilson for Stephon Diggs? Hell no. Bug says, appreciate you being here though, bro. Appreciate that today with Jay. Bug says 2-3 this week with Bucky, Lamb, and Rice on my bench. Trade one or wait. I would trade Bucky. I would keep Lamb and Rice if I could start him, but I would trade Bucky for a nice piece. I don't know if what you can get, but I did a trade video a couple days ago, so look at that trade video and see if you can trade Bucky for one of those players, like a Brian Thomas Jr. or something, or I don't know what running back is out there right now that would be worth trading for, but I would try to trade Bucky. Wandir says, are you selling Swift for Rico and Chuba? Are you selling Swift? Me, I wouldn't have Swift on my team, but if I did, I would have him as a flex play. And if I needed to win, because of the way Rico is playing, I probably would get off of Swift and go to Rico and Chuba. But I wouldn't care what happened to Rico and Chuba. I wouldn't care if they split it 50-50. I'm not going to make that move and say, man, you told me to do that, and now they splitting their carries. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to make that move to win right now so I can get Rico Dowdle in my lineup against the Cowboys for a revenge game. That's why I would make that move. Miracle Baller says, Drake May or Baker Mayfield? Got to go with Baker Mayfield, man. He on fire. I'm not going to disrespect Baker Mayfield because I love Drake May. Baker Mayfield is ranked higher in a vacuum. Now, I did my second quadrant rankings, and Drake May was ranked over him because that's the long-term game for the whole 4 weeks of the second quadrant. But in a vacuum, Baker can't be set for nobody. Only like Josh Allen. You would set Baker for Josh Allen. That might be the only quarterback that I'm really sitting. The only quarterback that I would sit Baker for is Josh Allen. Jonathan says Browns or Titans defense. I like Aaron Rodgers, so I'm gonna go with the Titans defense because I think Aaron Rodgers. This is 2 weeks for Aaron Rodgers to prepare for you. Mike Tomlin, I'm gonna go with the Titans defense. Sean Bond says, would you do Johnson or Pittman and Montgomery for Dunze, or possibly T. McMillan and Pollard, bruh. Who would you do, Johnson or Pittman? Pittman and Montgomery for Dunze, or possibly T. McMillan and Pollard. No, I wouldn't do T. McMillan and Pollard because I don't want Pollard for the fourth quadrant. But what I would do Johnson for Dunze. Do Johnston for Dunze. Do that right now, bro. Hurry up and do that. Trade Johnson for Roma Dunze. Aaron Holloway says, hey, how are you, TD? I'm good, bro. Providing content. Jay Moore says Truba was no show at practice. Good news for Rico. Yes, that's so. Rico gonna be started against the Cowboys. We all can figure that. I don't know why they ain't gonna put Truba on IR. They need to go ahead and put Truba on IR. Second class says Haskins at running back 1, a good pickup. Man, listen, I'm not gonna sit there and say it's a bad pickup. I don't turn nothing down but my collar. So what I'm saying is, I'm getting Kamani Vidal. If you want to get Haskins, there's nothing wrong. Just know what you're getting. Don't get Haskins and talk about he didn't catch no passes. Don't get Kamani Vidal and talk about he didn't get the goal line touches. I'm drafting Kamani Vidal for a big play or catching out the backfield for a nice PPR floor. Picking him up off waivers. I'm not picking up no Kamani for him to get the whole workload. You shouldn't be picking up Haskins because you think he's going to get the whole 80% of the workload. Now, listen, if that happens, bam, you hit. You won. Sometimes it does. Sometimes we might be like, well, I don't think he's going to get the full workload, and he does. Like a Rico Dowdle. Nobody knew he was going to get the full workload like that or have a boom game like that. So you just took the good with the bad, right? Or whatever the situation was. So I would say just know what you're getting. If you like Haskins and you pick them up, then know what you're getting. You're getting a goal line running back and first early down running back. What's up, Maz Ahmad? Appreciate you being here. Today with Jay says, would you trade Garrett Wilson for Stephon Diggs? No, I wouldn't do that, bruh. D-Tate says, what's good? Michael White says, would you play Tongues this week? Yes, I would play Tungus. I've been playing Tungus 80% of the time since Kittle been out. C.A. Jefferson says, D-Hop, Hollywood, or Calvin Austin. I know it's rough out here. Now, we're not going to do no Calvin Austin, but yes, it's rough out here, bruh. We're going to do, woo. I would go with Hollywood. But if Calvin Austin is okay and he practices all week with Aaron Rodgers, I can see you going with him. But I was worried about his injury. If he's okay and he's practicing and he's a full go and he's getting full practices in, yeah, I'll go with Calvin Austin. I can't go with D-Hop with Cooper Rush. Hollywood, the way they fade him, he does dumb shit. He's dropping the passes and shit. That worries me about Hollywood. And Hollywood can play. He's a decent player. He's a good NFL wide receiver. But I would go with Calvin Austin if he practices all week. If he doesn't, then I would go with Hollywood. Nino says, need help ASAP at wide receiver. Only got Jacoby, Diggs, and Ellick. Think it's time for me to part ways with McBride. Any wide receivers in mind for him straight up? Okay, so Nino, if you part ways with him, you done with him, right? You're not going to be talking about no tight end again, right? About, hey, TD, I streamed tight ends and it didn't work out. If you get off Trey McBride, before we move on, I want us to talk man to man, and I want you to tell me, yeah, TD, I'm done with him. I don't care what he does. I don't care if he finishes the tight end 1 for the rest of the season. If you okay with that, then we can talk moving on. And that's how I'm going to do y'all moving forward. Every time y'all talk about trading a player, I'm going to make sure, okay, so if we do this, are you okay with no matter how his output is? And if you say, well, no, I don't. If he be the number 1, I think it's a bad move, then we're not going to do it. But if you say, I don't care what he does, then we can do that. So if you're done with McBride and you need wide receiver help, Brian Thomas Jr., Jamar Chase, because you got McBride. Okay, somebody called my phone. All right, so yeah, Brian Thomas Jr., Marvin Harrison Jr., Devontae Adams. Those are Three guys that I like that you could trade for at the wide receiver position. If you're okay, no matter what Trey McBride does for the rest of the season. Ed Tate says, Christian Watson, they pick up? Yes, he's a stash. That's all we're doing, just stash him. Ain't nothing, we're not going to talk about how we're going to play. We're just going to stash him and see what happens going forward. We have to see it first before we can make that play. C.A. Jefferson said, Pitts or D. Waller? That's a tough one. That's a very tough one. Tomato, bruh. Tomato. I guess I'll go with Waller. He has no competition in the red zone except for just him. So I say go with Waller a little bit over Pitts, but I love Pitts too. Norberto says Trey Benson was dropped in my league. Should I pick him up? Yes. I got McCaffrey, Judkins, and Hampton. Yes, pick him up. Because in 4 weeks he's coming back. Shaq Graham says Kyron for Drake London. Yes, I like Kyron for Drake London. I like Kyron for Drake London over AJ Brown because they don't need to win by passing it. But they got it. Michael Penix got to pass it to Drake London in order for Atlanta to win. Three Strikes says, one quarterback league. Who do I drop? I got Kendre Miller, Bo Nix, or Daniel Jones. Who do I drop to get Kendre Miller? I'm going to say Bo Nix. I don't want to drop neither one of those guys, but we talking about in a vacuum where you trying to get a player because you got two quarterbacks on your roster. So I say drop Bo Nix and go and dance with Daniel Jones. Pause. Michael White says, will you play tongues in the flex if I need to, bro? I don't turn nothing down but my collar. I do anything it takes, bro. Hey, listen, if I get out here and I get hungry and I ain't got no job, Nick, I will clean up shit. I will work in a hospital. I do anything that ain't comfortable. I will work for a sewage company. I would do whatever it takes, bro. I'm not gonna go hungry. So I will play tongues at any position that I can if I need to play them. If I can't find nobody better on the waivers. Jay Moore says just dropped AMN for Kendre Miller. Yes, sir. Aaron Holloway says Kendre Miller or Michael Carter. If Alvin Kamara doesn't play, let me make sure, guys. Let me go through. Let me make sure. If Alvin Kamara doesn't play, I'm going with Kendre Miller. I'm going with Kendre Miller if Alvin Kamara doesn't play. Jimmy says, what you think about Romeo Dobbs rest of the season? I'd rather have Matthew Golden. That's just me. That doesn't mean he's not good for the rest of the season for you, bro. I just think he's just a touchdown dependent wide receiver. He has to be targeted around the red zone and the green zone to be good. But who knows, man? He might end up being the #1 guy on that team like we thought last couple years, but it hasn't happened. But it could. So he's not nothing wrong, but I'm just not high on him. C.A. Jefferson says Hunter, Tucker, or Pitts. I don't know who you. So what are you talking? So is that Travis Hunter and is that Trey Tucker and is that Kyle Pitts? Because I would go with Pitts. It's between Hunter and Pitts. Actually, since Hunter is my starter of the week, let's go with Travis Hunter over Tucker and Pitts. But it's close with Pitts. If you went to Pitts, I wouldn't say nothing was wrong with that. Pitts can play. He's getting used. Michael Penix is targeting him. Pitts is on a breakout year, even though he quote-unquote broke out his rookie year. Tron says, what up, TD? I just traded DK and Rashad White for Nico Collins. You traded DK and Rashad White while on his bye. I don't like to trade, Tron. You traded DK and you haven't tried to figure out what he's going to be or what he is. That's why I asked you guys, why are you doing those trades? there's no way that you know what DK is at this point in time. Now listen, I'm gonna tell you something. In the next 2 weeks, if DK go another 10-10, we can say, listen, man, every 4, 5, 6 weeks, he's only gonna have a good game. I don't want that. But I don't like you guys giving up players, and then we have to go through this and say, TD, man, I gave up DK. Why did I do that? I don't want to talk regrets. I want to talk learning situations so we can, oh, we saw that, we're not doing that, we're moving forward. Oh, I saw what this guy what he had. I don't like giving up stuff and it don't work out. Like, I gave up this and this guy ended up being good. And the only way you can do that is to be patient. So I don't like that you gave up DK. But let me read the rest of it. I don't like that you gave up DK and Rashad White for Nico Collins, who offensive line is not good. And he might have some good games, but if he don't be consistent, because Aaron Rodgers is getting better. You have to be able to read that. Aaron Rodgers is getting better. Aaron Rodgers is a vet. If they win this week and DK have a good game, DK might be the same value of Nico, and you just swapped out somebody for no reason. And he ended up being better than Nico Collins. And that's what I do know a lot about fantasy, and that's why I do not trade my players like that. A lot of you, man, guys, I do consultations, and it'd be hard for me because somebody be like, hey, I'm done with this guy. I want to do this. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, who do you want? And I'm like, I don't like to trade, but if I start talking to you people, it might be bad. Like, what? I'm like, bro, what are you doing? Oh, man, you gonna try to tell? I ain't getting no consultation no more. You ain't gonna tell me what to do. So I be stuck. But I don't like the DK trade. He says, after losing Tyreek, needed a true wide receiver one. We got to make sure that ain't DK. Wide receivers are now Nico, Devontae Smith, McLaurin, Olave, Travis Hunter, and Kupp. I get it. Nico, now listen, you didn't get a bad player. You didn't need Rashad White, so I'm not worried about Rashad White. I know you got good running backs, so we're not worried about Rashad White. I just hope that DK doesn't outplay Nico Collins, because it would be a bad trade. And you could have, maybe it don't really impact your team, but I need you to know that going forward that you can trade a player that you be like, well, he had 2 or 3 bad weeks and I don't want him, but he's trending. Their team's getting better, like a Brian Thomas Jr. I don't want Brian. And they're getting better. And then you go and try to trade for a player who's playing out of his mind right now, like a Ibuka. And then Ibuka calmed down, and then now DK or whoever, Brian Thomas Jr. is going off. Because we wasn't watching the games where they was getting better. That's when I watch the game, I'm watching, how's Trevor standing in the pocket this game? Is he looking for Brian Thomas Jr.? Is everything working in together for as a machine? Those are the things. And when I watch Aaron Rodgers and Kenneth Gainwell in that overseas, they look good. Kenneth Gainwell never played like that his whole life. So what's going on? Something's going on. This team is getting better. Aaron Rodgers is being humble. He's learning how to win, not learning how to win games, but he's not trying to go out there and throw for 500 yards every game. So I'm just worried that maybe you gave away the sauce. But we'll come back to that, Tron. Usually me and you usually agree on a lot of stuff. Michael White says, would you start Tongues this week against Tampa? Yes. It didn't really matter who it is. And I'm gonna tell y'all something too. Matchups matter sometimes. I'm not gonna sit here and act like I'm not gonna act like the matchups don't matter. I use matchups too, but it's a lot of circumstances that I use. It ain't just matchups. So don't be scared to play a guy that's been playing well because of a matchup. And I'm gonna show y'all some matchups when you be like, damn, I'm like Patrick Surtain. Let's see what guys are doing against Patrick Surtain. I don't care how good he can do from week to week. I'm not going to sit my stud wide receiver, but I might sit Calvin Ridley. If Calvin Ridley's my wide receiver, yeah, I'm not playing him against Patrick Surtain. Not saying Calvin Ridley sucks. I'm just not going to play that caliber guy. But if I got Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Brian Thomas, Amon-Ra, a few other more guys, I'm going to play him. So Tongues is okay. Tongues has been playing good, man. I know he ain't Kittle, but he's been playing well. So if you need to play him, you play him. It doesn't matter who the team he's playing against. CK, because I'm running Bijan at running back too. Okay. London Bijan stack. I like that. Both of those guys are goal line guys, and one of those guys usually going to score. It's going to be Bijan or Drake London. Jay Moore says, if Kamara misses, you play Miller over Ridley in the flex. That's a good one. I've been thinking about that. I almost made Ridley my start of the week because of him playing the Las Vegas Raiders and them giving it up behind the dumpster. I really thought about that. That's a tomato. That's a tomato really is sneaky this week, going against the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, they don't have to score a lot of points for the Las Vegas Raiders to be a good streamable defense, but all Calvin really got to do is catch 6 passes for 50 yards and a TD. He's a top 24 wide receiver at that point in time. So, no, it's close, man. It just depends on this. It could change, but right now I would say I would play Ridley over Miller in a full PPR lead. And half-point PPR, I would play Kendre Miller. B. Silver says, Pearsall not going to play this week. Are we riding Bourne again? No clear news. Yes, we got to ride Bourne again with Matt Jones starting. Who? Matt Jones. Who? Back then, they didn't want me. Now I'm hot. They all on me. Matt Jones. Bloody Blad says top 5 hood movies. I like these type of comments. Just give me a little bit of breath of fresh air. Let me give you something to drink, guys, and let me get my organic cold pressed juice. Look, I'm doing free advertisement. Okay. Top 5 hood movies. So right now, I got my pen. So I'm gonna talk about Juice. Juice is probably my number 1. So just put Juice down. I might change it after I do it. So let's do Juice. Can I say the movie? Hey, what is the movie with Denzel Washington where he's a corrupt cop? Training Day. Can I say Training Day, or is that not a hood movie? I'll leave Training Day off for right now. Okay, so we got Juice. Don't Be a Menace. With Old Dog, Don't Be a Menace. Shotas. Okay, I need 2 more. Two more. This is good. Appreciate that. Bloody Bled. What's another hood movie that I like? What's the movie where the Aryan hood white guy goes to jail and his best friend end up being a black guy who gets killed because of him? What is that movie called? I know I'm gonna read it later, but I don't want to lose my spot. That's a movie. I like that movie. That's all I can think of right now, bro. That's a great question, though. I love it. I don't want to hold the chat up. What's going on, Vera? MH1608 says 18 full PPR of trade Pickens for Dobbins. No, we're not trading Pickens for Dobbins. Dobbins is volatile. Jay Moore says, would you drop Michael Carter for Woody? Yes, I would. I would use, it just depends. If you don't need Michael Carter this week, because some people need Michael Carter, it doesn't matter about the matchup. But if you don't need Michael Carter, I would go ahead and get Woody before Woody plays, or they start talking about we're going to get Woody more carries. So, yes, I'm thinking long term. There you go, Jay Moore. Carter has a bye week 8. His next 2 matchups are tough, Indy and Green Bay. Yes, I love what you're saying. I agree with you, Jay Moore. I've already thought about that. Zach says, half-point PPR, start 1, Hall, Dawes, Pearsall, if healthy. I'm going with Hall. We're always going with the running backs in half PPR majority of the time, 90% of the time. G. Santos says, Chase Brown, Scat, or Kendre Miller if Kamara is out. I'm going with Kendre Miller over Scat and Chase Brown. Now, listen, that could change. It could change. So, G. Santos, keep asking this question with stars and sits out the week, because it could change depending on how I heard the team talking with Kendre. If I heard they say, what you call it, Taysom Hill's going to get some carries and da-da-da-da, maybe I might get off Kendre and go with Scat. If Joe Flacco starts talking good about Chase, maybe I go to Chase. So this is something that we're just going to have to keep checking in as the week go on. My answer can change all the way up into Sunday morning. I always want to remind y'all that. My answers can change. I don't have to stick with what I'm sticking with on a Wednesday. New information come in. Would you roster, Jay Morrison, would you roster Coker or Golden long term? Golden. Rashid says, is Sutton a good flex this week? Yes, he's always a good flex. He's a starter, bro. Even against tough matchups, he's always a starter. If he was going against his own teammate Patrick Surtain, he still would be a good matchup. I mean, not a good matchup, but he still would be a good play in the flex. This is a wide receiver 1 on his own team. Flip side says Ibuka and Judkins for JSN and Derrick Henry, good trade. I think it's a tomato. It just depends on your team needs. I think it's a good trade for both people because I see top end talent. Ibuka and Judkins are young. I would say that's a little bit better just because of the Derrick Henry. But guess what? Derrick Henry, Lamar coming back. So Derrick Henry's going to be fine. Baltimore is not going to lose the rest of their games. Lamar, when he comes back, they're going to be putting up some fantasy points. So I think this is a great trade for both sides. This is an even trade. I could just read the template of it, like, because I'm right. Yeah, everybody got what they needed. Martin Castillo says thoughts on the Chargers running backs, TD. Cutting edge content. I'm going with Kamani Vidal, bro. PPR. I've talked about that early in the video, Martin. Go back and watch some a little bit earlier when I talked about my flex play start of the week, and I said it was Kamani Vidal. And it's all about him catching passes. It's not that I think he's better than Hassan Haskins. It's just the way game script. To me, he's going to be on the field and get more chances to score points because of game script, which is passing. They need to pass because of the injuries on the offensive line. Quentin Johnson just said they said he's questionable, guys. He should be okay, but they said he's questionable. Got a super chat from Starter Kit Duke. What's up, bro? He says, salute, TD. Who is the better rest of the season stash? Torrey Horton, Caleb Johnson, or Luther Burden? I'm going with Luther Burden. I did like Torrey Horton, but Cooper Kupp ain't going nowhere. And he doesn't have to worry about an injury because he's not getting used like a JSN. He just being he's got a lot of targets too. He's got the same amount of targets as JSN, maybe a couple less. So, but Luther Burden, I feel like they're going to trade DJ Moore. And I think Luther Burden is going to get more and more opportunities. And I also think that during the bye week that they found more plays, more manufactured targets for Luther Burden. So Caleb Johnson probably done for the year, especially after Kenneth Gainwell. Not done for the year, but he's not going to be out there that much, especially after Kenneth balled out. Torrey Horton, unless Cooper Kupp goes down, he's not going to get enough consistent targets. He might get a touchdown or two every 2 or 3 weeks. So I'm going with Luther Burden and 14-team full PPR. Appreciate that starter kit. Martin Castillo says Dobbs or Golden. I'm going with Golden. Bob Hope says Taylor or Pitts PPR. Thanks. Tomato. I'm gonna go with Pitts. I don't know. I love Mason. I'm not gonna worry about the Denver matchup. Pitts is Pitts. The matchup is good. It's tomato. I think you can't go wrong either way. But I guess if you ask me to put a gun to my head and ask me to choose, I'll go with Pitts because of the matchup. But I'm not worried about Taylor's matchup at the tight end position. Nino says, drop Mark Andrews for Kyle Managa. Yes, you can drop Mark Andrews for Kyle Managa to make sure you got that handcuff. Man, listen, do you think Kyle Managa is going to be getting a full workload? Because, bro, if you get Kyle Managa and then they start splitting it 60-40 or 50-50, then it's not going to be a good move. But even though you might not never need Mark. So we want to make sure that we picking up somebody who, if something happened, we got the bail cow. Might not be 100%, but at least he's getting the goal line touches. I got McBride, okay, but my flex has been looking awful, so Andrews is a potential flex guy for me, right? So yes, I would try to find drop Mark Andrews and try to find me a flex guy like a Xavier Leggett, somebody. There's somebody out there on your waivers. Champ Diesel says, I like Chuba. I think Chuba might lose his job. Listen, he just got paid, but that don't mean you won't lose your job. So it's possible. Anything is possible, bro. Jay Moore says, thoughts on Kendra Miller eating into Kamar workload. Yeah, listen, Kamar got paid last year. So Kamar probably is a trade bait. So that's why they just getting Kendre Miller. They getting them ramped up to take over for this team. They a young team. They about to rebuild their team through the draft. Tom says Dowdle the guy. Yes, he probably is. I'm not gonna sit there and say he ain't. Yankee says start Rashad White or Rico. If Chuba sits, I would start Rico against the Cowboys as a revenge game. Tom says Baker is hot. Yes, to pause. He is. He's a top 3 quarterback in the league. Jay Moore says drop one for Woody, Carter, or Kendre Miller. So what's going on with Alvin Kamara? We don't want to drop Kendre, right? Because we might have a starter. So I would say Carter, because Carter's not going to be the starter for the rest of the season. I think Woody is going to be good for the rest of the season. I think once Trey Benson comes back, that Carter role is going to be diminished. He might take over the Imadamakado role, but it's going to be a lot more Trey Benson. I don't think nobody's going to be better than Woody. Now, can Nick Chubb get the first carry and take off 60? Yeah, it's possible. But I still think Woody is what they want for the future for this team. So I would drop Carter. Kendre Miller, Alvin is, if he gets traded, he's going to be the starter for the rest of the year. Aaron Holloway says Bucky for Bill. Yes. I would probably want a little bit more. But yes, I would do Bucky for Bill and another throw-in. Because you got to remember, it's Bucky. Bill only had one good game. He ain't had no 200-yard game after this game. If he have another good game, then yeah, maybe straight up will be good. Chris Cofit says, would you trade Lamar for Mayfield and Pittman? No, I would not. I would rather stream a quarterback before I go and trade a Lamar Jackson for Mayfield. Mayfield is not that good. He's not Josh Allen and going to be putting up 40, 50 points. Is he going to be putting up in the mid-20s and stuff? Yes. But he's not going to be – I don't think he's going to break fantasy. And that's the only way that I would trade a Lamar Jackson and get off of that for a Baker Mayfield who has no rushing upside. Now, I'm still respecting his arm because he's having a tremendous year. He's an MVP right now. Bucky for Bill. Browns. I don't know what you mean by Browns, Ern. Champ says had Bill and Dowdle replace Hampton and Tracy last week. They both balled. Good job, bruh. Good job, Champ. Jay Moore says I can see Rico scoring 2 rushing touchdowns this week. Me too. Jay Moore says who you like more this week, Bo, May, or Baker? Well, I don't really do about who I like more, but after what Baker's doing, I think he's on fire. He's feeling himself. So I'm going to say Baker. But Bo got to match up, but I like May. Sometimes, you know, Bo has a really great matchup. I mean, it's the New York Jets. They've been giving up behind the dumpster every week. May is playing the Saints, but I still like May. I like May a lot. I just think we have to just narrow it down to who's balling out. And I'm not going to just go to who got the easiest team they playing against. I don't play fantasy that way. Who got the easiest team? And I'm going to play that every week. I'm not going to do that. Some people was brought up off fantasy believing in that. I believe in, like, I'm dancing with the girl that I came to the party with. So Baker Mayfield is balling out. I drafted him before Bo. I drafted him before May, so I'm going with Baker. So I'm going to go with Baker. I'm not going to lose sitting somebody in what they did last week, and they had an amazing game and been balling out all season, and they're the MVP, and I'm going to sit them, and I lose. I can never forgive myself for that. I will hold on for that for the rest of my life. But I make decisions where I don't hold on to shit. I don't hold on to know I lost that week because I make great decisions early, and I'm okay with it. But if I go and just try to get all crazy, I will never forget it. Got another, oh, okay, no, I thought I had another super chat. Okay. Boys in the Hood. I saw Boys in the Hood. That is one of them, and that was my easy one, but I was thinking so much. Boys in the Hood is one of my favorite ones. Jay Moore says, okay, Yankee says, feel like Godwin will have a monster game in a few weeks. Have him stashed as have a Tampa Bay squeeze with Ibuka on my team. Okay. I don't know. I will hold on to Godwin like you do, but I think Ibuka is the guy that I want, and I think it's going to be him and Mike Evans, and Godwin will get whatever's left over. That's what I think is going to happen. Chris says, Adam Scheffler said Bucky Irvin's shoulder injury is more of an issue than his sprained foot. Right. Likely sidelining the second year back for at least 2 weeks. Yeah, and that's only 2 weeks. Rashad White only going to be good for those 2 weeks. Good information, though, Chris. B. Silver says, what if you have to sell Josh Allen for wide receiver depth? That's fine, because there's good quarterbacks out there. You can go to the waiver wire and stream guys like Sam Darnold and other players. So I understand that. In the redraft, I will trade a Lamar Jackson for 2 killer players, but I'm not going to trade him for somebody who had a couple good weeks. I'm not trading no Lamar for no Quentin Johnson. I trade Lamar for a Jamar Chase or something and a Derrick Henry, but I'm not going to trade him for no chopped liver. Liver is good for you, but I'm not gonna go to the store and pay a bunch of money for it. B Silver says, what if you have to sell Josh Allen for a wide receiver? All I have is Keenan, Diggs, and Sutton. Or do we preferably have to wait for a big Josh Allen game? No, you don't. Not Josh Allen. You ain't gotta wait for that. So you can trade Josh Allen right now, and ain't nobody gonna lowball you. So yes, I can understand you doing that. Make sure you can go to a quarterback that you can stream and you feel comfortable with streaming them. Senor Rojas says, thanks, bro. Gotta take down my comments this week. Okay. Yeah, people come out to the comments. In my leagues, they love to play me. And will let me know and try to be nice just to tell me they won. Be like, hey, how you doing? TD, what's up, man? What's going on, bro? Not nothing. Bro, I got lucky this week. I didn't think I was going to beat you. Man, don't call my ass to tell me you won that game, because when I spanked your ass 2 or 3 weeks ago, you didn't say nothing. Don't call me. Don't call me talking about, hey, man, what's going on? Bro, you see how bro, I can't believe I won. I don't want to hear that shit. Don't call me talking about you won no week, because when I win, I'm not calling you. Because now you beat me in the playoff, we can call and we can chop it up and we can shake hands and you can talk your shit, because it matters. But in one little vacuum win, you ain't bet me or nothing. You ain't said nothing to me all year. I done whooped your ass in a bunch of leagues, and you gonna call me and talk about something you won? That's what they do to the comments. That's what they do to the comments. Chicago Con says, Juckins, Scatterbo, Dowdle, Williams, need 2. I'm going with Dowdle and Juckins. If that's Javonte Williams, that's tough. I like Javonte Williams. But I got to go with Juckins and Dowdle. Jay Moore says, thoughts on Isaiah Davis? He's a third down back, man. I think Breach Hall is going to get all the goal line touches, so I'm not really worried about Isaiah Davis. If you want to stash him, you got room, do it, but he's not going to be a league winner, so we don't care nothing about him. Nino says, 100%, I ended up grabbing Taylor and just got to work for depth at wide receiver. Right. Sometimes that's the best answer, brother. I love that. NY says, Derrick Henry already losing work to Justice Hill and now Keaton Mitchell, who was active for the first time in week 5. NY, I'm going to call you New York. I think you overreading the situation. So that's like Debo didn't have any targets that past 5 yards. What's going on? It's Debo. He don't need targets past 5 yards. It's Derrick Henry. He ain't gonna get the whole workload when they lose him, bro. Now, what you need to be alarmed about Derrick Henry is an injury, and they take him out on the goal line and put in Keaton Mitchell. That's what you need. Don't worry about no Derrick Henry losing no snaps, bro. That's why I think I have a special channel. I can read past the bullshit. Everything that somebody put in my face, I'm not gonna digest it as what they're trying to portray it as. I can read between the tea leaves. When I'm hearing this shit about Shadir Sanders being like, I think Shadir's gonna get his opportunity. So that they not putting Bailey Zappi in front of him just to put Bailey Zappi in front of him. But it's the reason is, if something happened in the middle of the game, Bailey, you come clean it up, not Shadir. When we come back the next week, we'll put Shadir in with a game plan. So when you looking at, you can't read into Derrick Henry's snap percentage. Derrick Henry, bro, had the years that he rushed for 2,000, Keaton Mitchell was out snapping him some games. Justin Hill's out snapping him. It doesn't matter. It's about the game script. When Lamar get in there and the game is close, Derrick Henry getting all of that. So I just want to let you know what that is. I wouldn't worry about that now. Can Derrick Henry have a bad year? Hell yeah. But I don't think it's going to be because they had to sit him for Keaton Mitchell. I don't think that's what it's going to be. It's going to be because he kept fumbling, something like that. NY says at 30 years old on a non-competitive team, Kamar likely continues to see his workload and usage reduce. Correct, but you got to get traded. You don't pay no running back that's that age at 30 last year after he already had an injury and just reduce his workload and let's keep him on the team. No, you have to go and trade him. So he's trade bait up into the trade deadline there. After the trade deadline, they don't. Then, bro, you can come back and I have to say, what the hell is going on? Why is he getting 3 carries and they didn't even try to trade him? That's not going to happen, bro. They will trade his ass quick. They are trying to rebuild this team. You don't want to have an old-ass running back that you got to pay $13, $14 million to this year and you're not even using them. You're not going to do that. But, hey, I've seen it all. I've seen a lot. So I'm not saying you're wrong on both of the situations. I'm not saying you're wrong. The way I process, I want to get my 2 cents out there on it. And then we can come back and revisit later because you could be right. Jay Moore said, do you think Carter will get phased out once Benson comes back? Hell yeah. Scott Imager. Sorry about pronouncing your last name. Well, what's up, Scott? He says, is Evan Ingram worth a pickup? He's on waivers. If you need a tight end, but no. Just because he scored a touchdown, we're not going to pick him up. Bashir Tootin is questionable. It's early, though. It's early. Hennessy Black. Yo, what's up, bro? Aaron Holloway says, gotcha. Makes hella sense, TD. Thanks. He says, Miller is too good at this point. Right. Hennessy Black says, DeMarcado will score this week. Bold prediction. Hey, yes, that is a bold prediction, but I won't be surprised. That's why I always tell y'all what. Dance with the girl that you came to the party with. Because this shit doing this, and whoever can do this and go through this, like, this may dip. And you're, oh my God, but if you can stay even keel, you're going to come out as a winner. And that's how life works. You might be born into a family that ain't got no money. The lights is cut off. You struggling. You can say, well, my life is over. I might as well sell drugs and do this and do that. But if you stay even keel and keep fighting, you're getting picked on in school. People are saying you ain't going to make it. And then you get out of school, you get a job, and you work hard at that job, and you get your first paycheck. You get your next paycheck. And then you keep working, and now you're not on that same trajectory. Guess what? Now your whole life is changing. You think back 10 years ago, hey, damn, man. We was eating cold food and shit. We didn't have no heat. But now you got plenty of heat. You got plenty of money. You got $40,000, $50,000 in your bank account and making money. So that's what I try to tell y'all about when it comes to fantasy. I'm not going to be shocked when DeMarcado score. If I have to play DeMarcado, guess what? I will play him. So I love that you said that, Hennessy Black. A lot of us don't understand, man. We do this all the time. Stay even keel. Stay even keel. Things will work out for you with your teams, with your money, your finances, your life. And I'm applying that logic to my life as we speak. I'm not speaking as I'm perfect. I'm speaking these life facts to fantasy because I faced these things and I bought it into fantasy and I bought it into real football and the shit works. Life is nothing new under the sun. All this, the way you think, that's why it's metaphors. That's why when you take the SAT, they give you these metaphor questions. Light is into candle, is candle to sun, as in a flashlight. What is the flashlight? They all are shining. They all are lights. Every light ain't got to be the sun. The sun is different than the flashlight. But guess what? They all lights. They all are producing rays. So that's what I'm trying to tell y'all. You have to don't give up on your player because they gave you one bad week. You don't get mad at your friend because y'all argued one time. D. Smitty says, my running backs are Monty, Rashad Wright, Henderson, Marks. Is Breach Hall a good running back to trade for? What running back would you give up for Breece? I would give up Marks for Breece. I would give up Marks. I'm not giving... No, Rashad White, if you need to win these weeks, if you already good and you already 4-1, 5-1, you could give up Rashad White. But I think I would want to use Rashad White. Long as Bucky is out, I don't want to give that up. I want to make sure I win these weeks. So the guy that I think your team could give up and you still be good, and you're not giving up nothing really that's gonna be, kill your team. I think Marks is good, but you're gonna have Breach, so you ain't gonna need to have Marks when you can pick up a guy like Breach. But I don't want to give up Henderson, who could be a top 5 running back in the fourth quadrant. I don't want to give up Monty, where Jahmyr Gibbs could go down and Monty be a league winner. And I don't want to give up Rashad White when I need to make sure that I win and go to the playoffs for the next 2 weeks when I'm 6-1 or 7-1. So I would give up Marks. OG Creeker says Juwan Johnson or Pitts. I'm going with Pitts. King Justin, what's up, bro? He said if Lamar Jackson is out again, Henry may find it tough to find open running lanes against the Rams. That's true. That's true. But remember, just like somebody said earlier, Imadado can score. Demercado can score. I don't know why I keep putting the E with it. That's his first name. We keep saying Demercado can score. Derrick Henry can score. He can score on the first drive and score an 80-yard touchdown and never get another yard. But guess what? He's a top 24 running back. He got 14 points. So that's the reason. But you're exactly right, bro. I don't think he's going to kill it. I don't think he's going to kill it. But I'm still starting him because it's Derrick Henry. And it ain't just I'm starting Derrick Henry because his name is Derrick. No, it's because I know how they're going to use him. They're not going to bench him. When they get down into that green zone and that touchdown line, they're going to put him in. That he's going to get the honey touches. King Jesse said, this is the best week to hype up DK Metcalf if you are looking to trade him. Yes, if you're looking to trade him. The Steelers' passing offense has been mediocre at best. And that's not how you find players, is because they mediocre. Let me ask y'all this. When the Dallas Cowboys was winning Super Bowls, was our passing game mediocre? Yes, it was mediocre. It was just Troy Aikman was throwing for 200 yards. And don't get it twisted. Joe Montana and them boys was throwing for 300. So don't say it was just the error. No, Joe Montana and them boys was throwing for 200 or 300 for 300 yards. But what I'm not looking, see, this is what I'm glad you said this, King Justin. I'm not looking for no hyper targeted machine. It's once them guys are gone after the first 5 or 6 picks, they gone. So how I pick a guy for a breakout? Well, it's Aaron Rodgers. He likes to hyper target that guy. It's no other who's the second best wide receiver? Is it a Pro Bowler? Is it Devontae Adams? No, it's not Devontae Adams. It's not George Pickens. It's Calvin Austin. So if DK, I'm going to play him. Now listen, I'm not sitting here trying to sell you on DK. If you off DK, then get off of him. But what I'm trying to tell you is, if you get off DK, don't have no regrets. So if you want to get off him and trade him, bro, who am I to tell you? That's a great move to trade him to get something back in value. But I don't want you to be like, man, why did I trade DK? That's not what we do. We're not going to come here and we're not going to complain. This is not a complaining center. This is not fantasy complain sports. This is fantasy good sports. So what we're going to do is, TD, I dropped Jamar Chase. I'm good with it. Oh, okay. I'm not going to chastise you because you said I know what I'm doing. I don't want him on my team. I'm moving forward. But we're not going to do this and just to talk about. And I'm not saying you doing it, King Justin, but you know how many times I see comments and I'm like, they like, I did this and I did this. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, all right, yeah, man, that's solid. And then they come back and say, hey, man, that didn't work out. And they put that comment inside my comment section. And I'm like, but why in the hell did you even trade him if you worried about that now? Why did you trade that player? So that's what I'm trying to say, King Justin. I'm nervous to give up DK this early because I think he could be hyper-targeted by Aaron Rodgers a lot. But if it doesn't happen this week, then I make my move. I sit him or whatever, but I don't want to give it up, and this could be a special tandem. That's the only thing that I'm saying. You can have a mediocre offense and still have a top 10 wide receiver on that mediocre offense. Philly says just traded Puka and Penix Jr. for Romeo Dobbs. No, Romeo Odunze, Rome Odunze, and Bucky Irvin and Brock Purdy. Just traded Puka and Penix Jr. for Rome Odunze, Bucky Irvin, and Brock Purdy. Philly, I can't give that my blessing. Now listen, if I saw your whole team and everything, and you ain't have to put your team in the chat, but if I saw everything and got the temperature and the template of what you're trying to do, I might appreciate it. But I don't understand why anybody would ever trade Puka. unless you are losing and you 0-5. And if you 0-5, it makes sense because you got a Rome Odunze who gonna replace Puka. You got Bucky Irvin, you got more running backs, and you got another good quarterback because Pennis Jr. might struggle. So if that's the case, yeah. But if you just traded the traded man and you 3-2, you got at least 2 to 3 wins, I wouldn't do it. I'm not giving up Puka. Don't be a menace. Yep, don't be a menace. Yep, that's one of my favorite ones, Doug Wise. 3 Strikes says Sutton, Golden, AJ Brown, and Tet need one. I'm going with AJ Brown, even though he might not have, I would say, the best matchup per se, but it's AJ Brown. They know they got to give him the ball. Golden is a lot of mouths to feed. Sutton, Bo Nix can win a bunch of different ways. He don't have to hit Sutton every single time. Tet hadn't had a touchdown all season. Bryce Young hasn't gave him the ball. So I'm going with AJ Brown, who we know can have a Joe Boo game and have 140 yards on 2 TDs. So I'm going with AJ Brown. Jay Moore says Titan coaching staff plans to use really more. Let's see how that goes. Right. And, it's coach speak. You should have been using them. It is what it is. 3 Strikes is training day. Yeah, is that a gangster movie? Is training day a gangster movie? Don't be a menace in South Central, right? Menace to Society. That's not the, we talking about the Wayne's one. Menace to Society is the real one. Thank you, 3 Strikes. Boys in the Hood. Belly. I wasn't a big Belly fan. Belly was good, but I wasn't a big Belly fan. But that's a good one. Above the Rim. Yeah, that's one. That's that gas. That's that gas, 3 Strikes. Henry H says trade K9 for Mason and Benson in a 14 league. Trade K9 and Mason for Benson. I don't know your team. If you consolidating because you got really good running back depth and you're just trying to consolidate, then yeah, I think it's fine in a 14-team league. But you're going to have to be patient with Benson come back because I still think he's going to be good for PPR. All right, guys, I got to kind of get out of here because I don't want it to go dark on the live. American History X, that's it. American History X, that's it. Friday, it's a hood movie, but it's more funny. It's comedy. It's comical. Comedy. Boys in the Hood is my favorite. Got you. Take the what I left. Okay. Take the what and left the what. Is that a movie? Take the what and left the what. Okay. CK says Dead Presidents is good. Dead Presidents. There we go. Oh, guys, y'all coming back with some memories. I ain't seen that movie in forever. All right, let me try to get through some of these comments, guys. Okay, Ricky Bobby, appreciate the super chat. He says TD Flex spot. Rashid Shaheed, Hollywood Brown, Troy Franklin, Godwin. I'm going with Rashid Shaheed. Great question. I love Rashid Shaheed. He almost been one of my stars of the week. Love Rashid Shaheed. Hennessy Black says, take what I left is what. Take the what and left the what. That movie sounds weird. It's from Shotters. Oh, okay. Take the what and left the what. I don't remember that part. I know that'd be like Max Dunham. That's my favorite. Max Dunham. That's my favorite. Chris says Franklin should provide solid flex value this week against the Jets secondary. Facts. CK says, thanks, TD. Jay Moore said, would you sell high on Ibuka? It just depends on what I need. If I need to make a move for my team to get better, I'm not just going to make a move on Ibuka just because I can. It's got to make sense. King Justice says, thanks for the breakdown. Your answers are very detailed, bro. Thank you. Thank you. I'm sorry if I kill it, if I fruit salad it, but I want y'all to understand. And I'm teaching here. I'm not just telling you what to do. I'm trying to teach. That way you can say, TD, I'm like, yep, that's, oh, we disagree on that, but I get your formula. Jay Moore says Geno is on pace for 30 interceptions. Hennessy Black says, I couldn't imagine giving up Breach for March. No, and if I told anybody to do that, to give up Breach for March, I told people it's okay for March, for you to give up March to get Breach. So I'm sorry if I read your comment wrong. Thank you for saying that. Hennessy says Vidal will get check down passes from Herbert. Facts. Barkley can't go 50 likes. Yes, sir. Conscious. Shipley or AJ Dillon. I would go with Shipley if Barkley can't go. Don Mega Mayweather says, I don't want to give up on Jameson Williams, but he's making it hard. Me too, bruh. I'm the same way. I'm going to keep playing them too. Chef Boy says, Travion Henderson, Tajay Spears, DeAndre Swift, who would you drop? I would drop Tajay before I drop Travion or DeAndre. Ori Solomon says, Rico over Kamara this week? Yes, sir. Brinley says, Fannin Jr. or Waller? I'm going with Waller. Conscious says, who can I target with Kittle, mainly running backs? Breach Hall. You might be able to get Breach Hall with Kittle. Marks. You can get Marks in another piece. Hey, I got a Conscious. I did a trade video. Go check out the trade video. I got a bunch of running backs on there. Jorg Fuentes says, 2 weeks ago, I traded Mike Evans and Chase Brown for CD and Marv Jr. 12-man league, by the way. Great job, Jorg. Great job. Ian Taylor said, don't call me. Don't call me. Faith in Woody Marks rest of the season? Yes, I said faith in Woody Marks. Faith in Woody Marks? Yes, I do have faith in him. Ain't nobody else there. Conscious says, looks like I'll be without Kittle, Pearsall, and Irvin again, 1-4, and never losing faith. I love that. I love that. Keegan says, rest of the season, Flowers or Waddle. I'm going with Flowers rest of the season. Jimmy says, Jalen Coker 21-day practice window to return has been open. Yes, sir. Stash him. Yes, sir. Coleman has been in the coach doghouse. Didn't play in the first offensive series. Wow. That's great. That's cutting edge content. Thank you for letting me know about that, Chris. Tony Nelson says Trey Tucker is on waivers. Do I drop Shakir for him? No, we're not getting no Trey Tucker. Senor movies, y'all forgot New Jack City. Oh, that's my favorite one. That's my number 2. That is my number 2, bruh. Yes, sir. New Jack City. You are so fine. Y'all don't know that. Y'all remember that when they was in the club? Bill DeVoy, whatever that song is. I wanna love you down. You know I'm an 86 baby. Those are some of the great movies right there. The New Jack City. The soundtrack. Whoo! That's one of the best soundtracks I've heard. All right, guys, I think I'm getting ready to get out of here. Sorry, guys, if I couldn't get to the questions, but I got to get ready out of here. This thing got dark. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Guys, y'all be safe. I'm going to get you, sucker. I never seen that Ed take. I know the Waynes made it because I heard them talking about it, but I need to watch it. Dursa says Rashad White or Quentin Junkins in the flex this week. I'm going with Quentin Junkins. Paid in full is good. When they were robbing the dude and he said, take the drugs and leave the money. Okay. Okay. The big dude that they robbed. The money was in the floor. Right. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to get ready to get out of here. Y'all be safe.